Good evening. Thank you for joining us for our Superintendent's Community Update. I just want to say how thrilled we are as a school district to have our students back. They have been showing so much enthusiasm as I do our walkthroughs at our sites, to be face-to-face with their teachers and to be able to be outdoors and run with their peers. It's been wonderful. And thanks to the independent study families for their decision to do what they need to feel safe in our schools. And I'd like to also let you know that across the state, you may have been hearing about substitute issues. And if your kids have come home and said they've had substitutes, I just want you to know that we are investing in training and asking our principals to be very aware of every moment in the classroom so that that time with our substitutes is as meaningful as when they're with their teacher. Today in our community update, you're going to hear a little bit about our COVID tracing and some of our safety in the school district. We have had a lot of questions and we want to make sure that we provide you an update and try to answer those questions as much as possible. And then also we're going to talk a little bit about safety at our school sites. And we're going to jump right in right now with Dr. Kanal going over some COVID safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Comende. Hello, everyone. As part of clarifying and strengthening student learning during COVID, the following slides will address a couple of Q&As, as well as some information that can assist you with vaccination, masking, and some of the COVID tracing that we are doing to keep our students and our staff safe. To begin with, we will continue with our vaccination clinics throughout the school year. We remind you that vaccinated individuals may not quarantine if exposed and if they are asymptomatic. As practice, universal masking is required, and it continues to do so between classrooms while indoors. And modified quarantine is allowable when exposure occurs and students are wearing masks. The use of seating charts minimizes transmission and assists with efficient contact tracing, allowing students to remain in school. These are some of the efforts that we have put into place to continue and strengthen the student learning during this COVID time period. In the next slide, you will find information regarding Q&As that have come forward. Where are the Unified Quarantine guidelines for exposed individuals? Vaccination status, location, and exposure occurred, and presence of masks during exposure. What constitutes an exposure? When a person has been in close contact, 0 to 6 feet, with a confirmed positive individual for more than 15 minutes over a 24-hour period. Below, you'll see when is quarantine following an exposure recommended. For vaccinated individuals, as mentioned, no quarantine if they are asymptomatic. They may test 3 to 5 days after exposure and continue to mask. For unvaccinated individuals, quarantine, whether it's modified or standard, depending on the exposure circumstances. Consult with the principal or visit our Upland Unified School District's COVID compliance website there on your screen for more information. On the next slide, you will see what is a modified quarantine and when it can be used. Utilized during testing and symptom monitoring instead of removal from in-person learning. Again, this allows us to continue to have our students and our staff when persons are vaccinated. Allowed when exposure occurs in school under the supervision of staff when masks are worn. Once again, it's if the exposure occurs at school versus if the exposure occurs at home. And students may continue to attend school if they meet one of the 4 criteria below. On this slide, the question, do I test during modified quarantine? In general, it is recommended to test immediately after it is known that one was exposed to someone with COVID-19. Students on modified quarantine should test twice per week during the quarantine period. Question, what is a standard quarantine and when is it recommended? Quarantine at home for those who do not qualify for modified or quarantine. No masks were worn or exposure was away from school. Additionally, while testing during at-home quarantine is not required, quarantine may be shortened from 10 days to 7 days if a negative test is received after day 5. On the next slide, Who is responsible for keeping track of students and staff who have reported positive cases? When a student tests positive, is proof of negative test required in order for them to return to school? Students should quarantine or isolate according to the timelines. No testing required when timelines are followed and students are asymptomatic. Those wishing to reduce a 10-day quarantine to 7 days should report proof, verbal or physical, of negative tests to school staff. When it comes to cleaning, are hand cleaning procedures necessary for the day-to-day operations? Daily cleaning of classroom and workspaces is adequate. No enhanced cleaning procedures are required. With that said, if a positive case is present, affected spaces should receive enhanced sanitation. On our next slide, what are the details surrounding testing for unvaccinated employees? Please be advised, testing begins Friday, October 15th and continues each week thereafter. At this time, it will be held at the district office, the time to be determined. It will be free of charge. It is the rapid nasal test. Please be advised, staff may also test through the personal doctor or the county. Staff members who are required to test weekly will complete a written affidavit detailing the understanding and agreement with the testing requirements in accordance with the law. We have received quite a bit of questions also regarding a dashboard that shows the COVID rates by site. We are pleased to inform you that this information can be found and it's viewed at our website under coronavirus information. So it should be right in the front page with COVID-19. If you click on that, you should be able to see the COVID rates by site. We thank you for your patience during this challenging time with COVID as we continue to move forward and do our best to make sure our students and our staff are safe. Now, pass it to our Assistant Superintendent in Ed Services, Pam Salgado.
Thank you, Dr. Canal. As you may be aware, there is a nationwide social media trend on TikTok called the Devious Lick Challenge or the Lick Challenge. And this challenge is encouraging students to steal various items from their classrooms and bathrooms without getting caught. And what this is doing is it's leaving behind a lot of property damage in the restrooms. As partners with you in your students' success, we need your help and understanding in this very serious matter. We would like to work with our families to help our students understand what are the consequences of this type of behavior. If a student is involved in criminal activity, they may be prosecuted, which could lead to a hefty fine or other legal action. Please help your students understand that charges of criminal mischief are serious offenses. Additionally, students will receive appropriate consequences at their school site as outlined in the Student Code of Conduct for each school site. Again, we encourage you to speak with your student about the importance of engaging in responsible social media use and to ask them to please not create, share, or distribute video or imagery of criminal activity. Student safety continues to be a priority for us, and we are taking necessary steps to address unrest at the high school. As anticipated, coming back from a year and a half of not being on campus, there are some challenges to adjusting, and we just want you to know that we are addressing some of these issues, including hiring additional proctors and also restroom proctors to help us alleviate this condition. And finally, we would like for you to encourage your child that if they see something that doesn't seem right, to say something. Please let an adult on campus know so that we can make sure that we keep all of our campuses safe for our students and staff. On the next slide, you will see information about how to get social emotional support. And again, we want to partner with our families and understand that this is it can be a challenging transition for students and for families as we are coming back to campus. And if you are ever in need of support, we have our crisis line available there. Also on the homepage of our district website, you can find information for Care Solace, and you will also find our district virtual wellness center. And we would invite you to participate in the resources that are there and be able to use them for your support. And now I will turn this over to our superintendent, Dr. Carmen Day.
Thank you so much. I just want to let you know another resource that we have provided and have gotten a lot of positive feedback is our Family Wednesday webinars, and they're back. We are excited that we can give you these opportunities for learning or thoughts around areas that may be a topic in your household. So we have had a social emotional support Wednesday webinar, one on suicide prevention, and they are going to be recycling because they're so important. But October 6th, our next one, we are going to have a college night financial aid. So most families are interested in that, and we'd love to have you join us. We'll also send you the link and invitation via social media or Parent Square. On the final slide, you'll see that I just want to reiterate, please check out our COVID site. We've made it accessible more than ever on our website because of your feedback on wanting to have it a little bit easier to get information. So please check that out. And if it is not something that is not answered that you're curious about, you can reach out to the site or the district, and we welcome that because that's why we are making adjustments to serve you to the best of our ability. Our next board meeting is October 12th, and I just want to leave you with this idea that we're in this together. It's been a great return to school, and I feel like we're favored because we have had less COVID issues than other districts. And so let's just continue with this positive energy and do our best to keep our kids safe and our staff safe, and let's just continue to have a great year. Thank you.